Hi guys, what's going on, and welcome back to another video on Conqueror's Blade. So, a few little tercios. So, all firearm units ended up actually getting a buff a week or so ago, which basically increased their damage drop-off, or I suppose reduced their damage drop-off. So a normal, or traditionally the musket units, once it starts firing over 20-30 meters, the damage it does gets less. And once you get to 50-60 meters, it does even less. And they've basically reduced the amount of damage drop-off. So the muskets, like these tercios, are going to be doing more damage at distance. But on top of that, they also buffed their accuracy, particularly at the sort of mid-ranges, up to about 15%. And these tercios were, once fully leveled, they're actually fairly accurate anyway. I've always found them to be decently accurate. So it actually makes them really quite a nice unit. They've obviously been pretty strongly overshadowed recently by the Senjis, because obviously they're the new unit, they do a lot of positive things. So they've kind of been forgotten about. You don't really see them very often in battles, so I thought we'd hop into a game with them, see how they're behaving a little bit with the recent buffs and changes, see what they're doing, and see what we can do with them. Initially, obviously we're on the new map, which actually I don't really know all that well in terms of where I am on the map, but the enemy team were just basically pushing up the funnel terrain, and while there are a few flanking points, like we saw with that guy there and his serfs, there's not all that many opportunities to get behind me, and with no trebs, it's actually quite hard for them to take out my range in this situation, which is why we're able to pick up so many kills, picked up 40 kills already, just blasting away into the mass that's already there. They go and try and pull back, and we almost get outflanked. These are one of the flanking points, as we were talking about earlier, but unfortunately this guy has just got the wrong unit in the wrong spot. If he turns to face me, I can outrun him. If he turns and runs, I'm going to shoot him in the back, and then we're going to be getting those 6-7k damage. You'll see in a minute, he tries to go into a Shiltron, but he's really got himself into a terrible situation. He turns, and look at the damage we start to do. It is crazy. How quickly we cut down that unit of stalwarts, even kill the enemy hero for good measure, and kill 20-25 of that unit of stalwarts. We did the bulk of the damage to the unit, because shooting him in the back like that with a musket, so crazy effective, just massacres them. But anyway, so that's really kind of held the A point nicely. I was down to about half ammo, and I was starting to think about maybe it's a good time to head to the supply point, because it's not actually that much directly pushing the front of us. You can see me kind of looking around, trying to make a bit of a decision about what I want to do, and decide, yeah, let's go and re-ammo, go back, get some fresh supplies, and then we can decide if we want to go back to defending A, or push up to kind of the main base. But if it's not the main base, stronghold, A part 2, I don't know what we're going to call the other part of this map, because there is a B point, and then up to a sort of main base as well, so yeah, don't know what that little castle symbol we shall call. Anyway, I'm waffling, going off on a bit of a tangent, as always. Tercios get re-ammoed, come back up, and are immediately being pressured on A. Right, let's see what we can do. One of the things I like about Tercios over ranged units, because I really don't like archers, and we've probably already had a video on that, or I've made a video on why I don't really like archers, and why I don't think they're always very helpful to the team. But Tercios, because they're so much more tanky, I can sort of leave them in a way that you can't archers. Yeah, if they get flanked by a unit of Keshigs, they're going to die, but that's going to be the case whether I'm there or not. But in this sort of situation, I can quite comfortably push them forwards, and if a unit of archers starts to shoot at them, it really doesn't matter, because they're not going to die instantly. They have really good defensive stats, almost 8,000 hit points. They're a really tanky unit, and they just survive. This Pike actually does quite a good job of trying to defend his Namkhans, but ultimately there's just too many of us and too much damage output. And that puts us to just over 100 kills now with the unit. Still merrily blasting away, but things aren't really making much progress on the A point. And actually, it looks like we've got this game in the bag. Well, actually I noticed that we've got a bit of pressure going on the stronghold point, whatever we're calling it. So I start to push up with my unit, and I started thinking, crikey, there's a lot of stuff here. Get way too close. Managed to just knock this Pike over before he uses his ult, and the unit takes him out, but his unit behind ends up taking me down. So up to a couple of hero kills, just over 120 unit kills now. And thankfully we get a little bit of allied support, and we start to see this tankiness of these Tercio. Yeah, one or two of them die, some of them end up unfortunately getting involved in melee, which is one of the annoying features of this unit is they do tend to get stuck into melee combat unnecessarily sometimes, but they actually kept blasting. They picked up another 20, 30 kills, and they survived. And that's why I like this unit in many ways more than the Senji, because they're just so tanky. And so it's not a unit that should really be ignored. I feel like they're just one that has kind of been forgotten about a lot recently. Anyway, we get to respawn. I'm back alive. The unit survived. They successfully ran away. And we're obviously going to be down to defending the B point now, because we've lost both A and the stronghold point. I'm actually one of the few times I'm calling my unit with double tap C. One of the comments I get quite a lot on videos is, why don't I use double tap C? Well, it doesn't matter so much on ranged, but essentially, when you call a unit by double tapping C, yes, they move quicker, but they move one at a time. So the first man moves off, then the man behind him follows him, then the man behind him follows him, and they basically form a line towards you. Like they're doing a little bit now. You can see how they turn up in basically one line. Yet when you move a unit with X, the whole squad, the whole unit moves at once together, and that means they turn up as a block. As I say, it doesn't really matter with ranged, but with melee units, I would rather be late, but turn up with my unit as one solid mass, so I can charge, I can brace, I can do whatever I need to, rather than turning up as a straggle. And that's why I basically refuse to use double tap C in most situations, unless I'm walking a really long way. But anyway, we're back, we're behind the B point, just got the unit set up, and it's back to doing what it does. Picked up 20 kills already. Another hero kill. I'm not sure how many they're up to now. 3 or 4, merrily blasting away. And the buff really seems to have made a difference to the damage they do. Particularly at these sort of mid-ranges, where I think we're starting to get the benefits of that damage reduction. So they're starting to get more damage at these sort of mid-ranges, and we're also getting the extra accuracy. For some reason, I expected that fire to have gone out by this point, and I accidentally walked my unit through it and set some of them on fire, which was pretty stupid. And then the enemy basically pulled back into this corridor, really starting to drive them back at this point. And so I think, well, I suppose we might as well get forwards and see what we can do. And a few interesting things happen here. Firstly, we're going to get hit by this catapult, and it's going to hurt. But any other unit, you can see the sort of damage it's done. If that was archers, that whole unit would be dead now. Managed to get out with the Tercios, and actually, they survive pretty much the whole unit. Unfortunately, they get hit a second time. And yeah, they can't take 2 hits. And not all of them die, but a few of them get cut down. But it kind of is testament to how tanky these Tercios are that so many of them actually survive. 2 direct hits from a flaming catapult. And that's really a lot of damage. No other ranged unit would be able to survive that much damage. They are the most tanky ranged unit in the game at the moment. I decided not to send them back to the supply point because we don't actually have very long left on this map. And I'm pretty confident they're not going to be capturing B. But if they're going to start pushing up, I really want to be able to get some shots in. Particularly as we're now at pretty long ranged, which is quite a good way of testing what their really long distance, maybe at 60 meters here, what their really long distance range damage is like. Actually, they do a pretty good job. You can see we start to get some hits in. That Maul gets hit by a stray musket round, immediately killed. And we just keep on the damage, and the unit is still firing, still putting in the effort. Actually, it's still picking up assists. As we start to really push down the corridor, I decide to call the unit up. Let's kind of go and get stuck in properly. Push them to the back so they can continue shooting down this corridor. And you can see we're up to, well, over 150 kills now, as the unit keeps merrily blasting away. Almost get hit by another one. They pick up themselves a 5th, 6th hero kill, something like that. And we just go around annoying this Pornodachi. At this point I decided, right, if there's one thing I'm going to do before this match ends, it's take down that bloody catapult. It's been nothing but a nightmare the entire game. There's actually a unit of muskets here also. We kind of have to dodge the dual blade a little bit, but I just get off, just go on with my ultimate. The match ends, but we take it down. Just got the catapult down and secure ourselves our victory. So, yeah, 7 hero kills, 150 unit kills. These Tercio are still a really good unit. They really are a very, very effective musket unit. So certainly don't dismiss them just because the Senjis have been released, even though the Senjis themselves are a very nice unit as well. They are the most tanky ranged unit in the game, and it does show, and it is definitely of benefit. Anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed the video. If you have, do let me know what you think in the comments down below. And of course, subscribe to the channel for lots more Conqueror's Blade content. Thanks for watching, guys, and I shall see you all on the next one.